Oh my goodness, we are so far away from the Veritech studios, my man Jacob, that first of all, folks, it is a Sunday, November, what are we, 17th, week 11 of the NFL. This is the Mean Gene Show. We are broadcasting live from Frankie's Sports Bar, 1303 Main Street in downtown Dallas. And I am joined by, you can see us, of course, but we look good. We've never looked so much better, Jacob. Jacob Meadows from the Coaches Quarters podcast. Man, welcome to Dallas.
What is up, Gene? I'm so glad that I got to join you out here. Hey, this bar is sick. This is awesome. This is a really cool experience. Finally being back out in the public again since our Vegas adventures. This is
This
quite
is our first one since we've done
since
Las
Vegas.
Vegas, right?
Yeah, buddy.
Oh my goodness! And of course, our main man back in the studios that's really making all of this happen is our producer AJ. AJ, man, we wish you could be here.
Yes, sir. Hey, it's all good. Appreciate y'all. Looking forward to the show still.
But what I can tell you, folks, we are here because, as you know, tomorrow night is the big game. It's for the battle of the state of Texas. It is the Houston Texans, which we have fans here, by the way, and the Dallas Cowboys. They will play tomorrow night, Jacob, and we're just here to sort of get everyone, ready for this big game in the battle of Texas.
That's exactly right. There's a lot more Houston fans here than I ever would have expected. It's kind of nice seeing the red and blue in full.
Yeah, I mean, this poor guy right here, he's got two Dallas Cowboy fans, like right between them. We got you, man. We got you. So, look, we're gonna hear from some of the fans here. It's just nice that we had some people come down. Okay, I just been threatened with a fork. Okay, all right, we got you too. Okay, we're gonna hear from the Cowboy fans too. All right, now producer AJ, you are gonna love it, man, because look, Cowboy fans are here, but look, we have a lot to uncover today because, as you know, in the studio we would take our time and go over every game that was played. There are still morning games being played from this morning, Jacob.
Yeah, it kind of feels weird not having a full slate of games finished whenever we actually launch this pod. So this is pretty cool because you have all of the first round of games wrapping up, and then we're going to go straight into the middle tier. And it's a little different. It is definitely a little different. This is cool.
Yeah, I mean, we got look. So, once again, I tell you what, folks, the show today is brought to you by Frankie's Sports Bar and Grill here in downtown Dallas. This place here, just to give you a little bit of history about it, uh, the Sports Kings, Jacob, which you know you've been part of that show. That show, and of course, subsequently, the Mean Gene show was born right here in Dallas, Texas, here at Frankie's Sports Bar.
Really, that's pretty. I mean, that
And,
makes sense why everybody here's so
and that was
proud.
in 2007. We did this. We launched this show. When we did the Sports King show, we had a former Dallas Cowboy player, AJ. You know this guy by the name of Jim Jeffcoat. Jim Jeffcoat was actually a co-host on the Sports King. So he is an honorary Sports Kings. We couldn't get him out here today, but man, we love coming here to Frankie's. The atmosphere is just always great. There's not, look, we had guests come here, and I feel bad because they don't have any place to sit, and normally they would sit here where these gentlemen are, but I mean it's just one of those days. So we're hoping some of the crowd to sort of clear out so some of our people can come in here, and then we got three spectacular evening games. But man, we got a lot of action to unpack here.
We absolutely do. And the first tier of games was pretty good. I mean, you did have a couple of pretty bad blowouts, but all things considered, the parity's been pretty good in this first round of games. There were a couple of surprises already today, including the Pittsburgh Baltimore game that's currently playing
Yeah,
right now.
yeah, we
I mean, outside of that, it's been a good day of football so
It's
far.
really been a good day. And you know what? For the week 11 matchup of games, I'm really shocked. Like some of these evening games, like how the hell did the Buffalo KC game not get flexed to be either a Thursday night game or perhaps a Monday night or a Sunday night game?
I get the Bengals are a good team and they deserve the prime time slot, but how does Kansas City beat Buffalo not get them?
I don't know. And they knew that. I mean, come on. Everyone knows that Josh Allen is always able to beat Patrick Mahomes in the regular season, but he can't touch him
Not in the
in the
postseason.
playoffs.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where even if both of these teams were bad, Gene, they still play each other harder than any other team in the league. So, like, this game absolutely should have been the final game.
Mhm.
It's a bit ridiculous that it is. But at least we do get to enjoy it pretty early on.
Yeah, we do. And Rachel, hi Rachel. I know she Kate. Where's your bike? Hit Rachel. Get on the air with us. Come on, Rachel. Just say hello to everyone, Rachel. I know. So we got Rachel's here. Um, and you want to tell everyone who Rachel is because they're like, who's Rachel?
Yeah, for all the people listening, Rachel is my lady favorite, right? She's been my
She's
girlfriend
here
for a
to
couple
keep
months now.
you in check.
She's here. She's the idea generator. She's here to help us out in a big way today. So that for everybody listening, that is who that is.
Okay.
Rachel is my pride and joy.
Rachel, thank you so much. You really help us out a lot. You really help us out a lot. And look, don't feel bad because my girl is here too. She's just not up here to keep, me in check like Rachel's keeping you in check. But
That's exactly. Hey, and for everybody to know, she almost got our show live stream on the TVs here at the bar, which would have been crazy.
it would have it
Important that we needed to run the computer.
that that would have been nice. But look, at least the folks that are back in Houston or wherever you like listen to the Mean Gene Show on ESPN 97.5. Look, we are streaming live and we can just kind of wave at everybody. You can obviously tell that we are not in our studios in Houston, but this is going to be a fun show. The next 2 hours, we have a ton of games to go over. As far as we get started on some of these now. I've seen look like the Denver Atlanta Falcons game has kicked off, so that's one of the three games that's going to be playing this afternoon, and I think the other one is going to be the Seattle Seahawks and the 49ers. That is a NFC West matchup. That's going to be happening. So we'll give you updates on that. And also the big game, of course, is going to kick off, and that's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs, man, the unbeaten Kansas City Chiefs playing the Buffalo Bills. So we can't wait to get into those late games, Jacob. But we got a lot of scores and updates from the early games as well.
We absolutely do. And we're going to jump off with the Thursday night game, right?
Oh yeah, we're always gonna start off with that Thursday night game, which we'll probably get that. You know what? Why don't we just kind of talk about that Thursday night game before we get the break here? So Thursday night, Week 11 kicked off Thursday night, and it happened in Philadelphia. And I tell you what, the Eagles win 26-18 over the Washington Commanders. So this was a NFC East matchup. But I tell you what, I think we have the sound bite of the Saquon Barkley or one of his runs there. So let's listen to that.
It is second down and 5. Do they keep it on the ground with Saquon Barkley? They do. He breaks free. He's at the 50, the 40, the 30. He's going to go. Touchdown, Saquon Barkley.
Wow. Look here. How many times have we heard that this year where I've never seen where it wasn't a trade, free agency. What happens here? You see what Derrick Henry is doing for the Baltimore Ravens, but have you ever seen one guy that turns a season around for the Eagles or for any team?
Honestly, probably not since the Daniel Tomlinson. I mean, truthfully, like Saquon has come in, he has 9 touchdowns on the season. He's been the catalyst for this Eagles offense that is starting to look good midway through the year. And without Saquon this Thursday night, the Commanders win this game. Jaden Daniels hasn't looked the same since his rib injury. You can use that as an excuse. You could say that, maybe his rookie season slump's not finally starting to hit a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But Saquon absolutely carried the Eagles over the Commanders this Thursday. So it's just one of the. Saquon is a generational talent. He was a generational talent when he came out of Penn State. The Giants just seemingly casted him away to a division rival.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I mean, we find ourselves talking about either him or Derrick Henry every week, but I've just never seen a transformational player like Saquon Barkley that really helped. I mean, it's not that. I mean, the Eagles did have decent running backs, but now that Barkley's, I can't remember who the running backs were in the previous years. I mean, because he is just dominating the backfield.
He gives them a burst that they haven't had in a long time. They had the DeAndre Swift, who is a good running back, but you see what he's doing in Chicago right now, albeit that offense is a mess. But DeAndre Swift is a good back, not a workhorse primary RB1. You have Kenneth Gainwell still on the roster. He's playing well, but he is also a second back. Saquon gives the Eagles the opportunity to have a 3-down workhorse running back and he does it better than almost anybody else in the league. And, honestly, as far as off-season acquisitions go, I have to say the Eagles probably got the number one
I think
acquisition.
they did, and I tell you what, folks, the NFC playoffs are going to just be spectacular. I know we're jumping ahead here, but my goodness, it's going to be a very interesting playoff run. Anyway, the Eagles now sole possession there in control of first place in the NFC East. Washington still, there, and of course the team here in Dallas. We'll talk about them a little bit later. But anyway, I think AJ would have to agree with us that Saquon Barkley and the Eagles seem to be for real. They are getting it done. But I tell you what, folks, like we said here, so that was the first game on Thursday night. We have all of the games here. We got some finals here we want to talk about that took place here. This Pittsburgh and Baltimore game is just getting down to the wire. So why don't we take a break? And when we come back, folks, we're going to get into all the action for the early games that took place in week 11. You are listening to the Mean Gene Show. We are broadcasting live at Frankie's Sports Bar, downtown Dallas, right here on ESPN 97.5 Houston.
You're listening to the Mean Gene Show
on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
for the Veritex Community Bank Studios. Here's Mean Gene.
All right, folks, once again, we are live in Dallas, Texas, downtown, Frankie's Sports Bar and Grill, 1303 Main Street. So if you're listening to us, if you're in Dallas, you're looking for a place to kind of come and hang out, we highly invite you to come down and hang out with me and Jacob Meadows here as we get folks ready for the big game tomorrow night, which is the Battle of Texas, Cowboys and Texans. Jacob cannot wait.
Oh, man, I wait for this game every 4 years, right? Every time it's scheduled, this is the most fun game just because, Dallas always has a good team, just not a great team. And Houston has a great team.
Just tell the truth. They absolutely suck this year.
Awful.
Just say it. Say it.
Dirt poor bad. Yeah, I feel bad for poor Dallas fans sitting across from us. It's going to be a hard
We're gonna
year.
give them a little something to say later on in the show when we
Y'all will have an
when
early first round exit too, so don't worry about
when we cover that game. AJ would not let us badmouth his Cowboys. That is a true fan, AJ. All right, you better stand up for those guys. Okay, week 11 is underway. We just covered what happened on Thursday night with the Commanders losing to the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles in solid control of the NFC East. And how about we jump into the action that took place today? We're going to go ahead and get on this Colts Jets game here because I tell you what, Aaron Rodgers has to retire. I saw he got hit on his backside a couple of times today. They lose a nail biter to the Indianapolis Colts 28-27. I'm still shocked at what's going on in Indy with the quarterback shuffle there. It looked like it was going to be Joe Flacco. They went back to Anthony Richardson, and it looked like that might have been a good deal.
I really think Anthony Richardson kind of woke up a little bit. I think him pulling himself out of a game because he was tired and getting subsequently benched for it, that woke up a monster. I mean, was he perfect? No. But did he look just substantially better than he has for the rest of the year? Absolutely. He looked good today, and it is worth noting that Aaron Rodgers definitely is on his last leg. He's still a good quarterback. He's not the quarterback that he was when he won back-to-back MVPs for Green Bay, and the Jets are in trouble. It is time to hit the panic button.
Yeah, I think so. They are now 3-7, and the Colts improved to 4-6. Not a bad day for Anthony Richardson. 20 of 30, 272 yards and a touchdown. Aaron Rodgers, not a bad day either. They just 22 of 29, 184 and 2 touchdowns. But I mean, this game was like a sluggish type of boring game, really. I guess it got down to the wire.
Yeah, it came down to the wire, and the same problems that plagued this Jets team prior to Aaron Rodgers' arrival, right? Like the biggest question mark for this Jets team was their offensive line before they ever brought Aaron Rodgers in. They have trouble having any sort of consistency in the run game, and they can't protect Aaron Rodgers in the times he needs it most. So it begs the question, they have a lot to do this offseason, and you have to wonder whether or not they're going to be able to put anything together to wrap this season up, or if this is already just
if you just look back to last year, they're not in any better situation than they were with Zach Wilson than they are currently with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, no, not at all. And, everybody hated on Zach Wilson, right? The New York fan base hated Zach Wilson. And honest to God, it might not all be Zach Wilson's fault. Turns out it's hard to play quarterback behind a Swiss cheese offensive line.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know where the Jets are going to go in this particular situation, but I can tell you right now, there will be no playoffs in New York. As I don't think neither teams are going to make the playoffs in the city of New York. That really sucks if you live in New York, and I do apologize. But anyway, we just have to tell the facts here. Now, Devontae Adams, 6 receptions there. He was targeted 7 times, 72 yards, no touchdowns. So do you think they sort of made this acquisition a little bit too late? Because, Rodgers wanted him a year ago.
I don't know if they made it too late. I don't think that there's chemistry amongst this team yet. I think it'll be too late by the time that's developed, right?
Yeah.
You don't have that chemistry between the Garrett Wilson and the Devontae Adams and Tyler Conklin and the other weapons that they have in this passing game. I just don't think that they mesh well enough together yet to actually make any sort of strides against a real NFL defense. And I think that outside of the Texans game, I do believe that has been on just full display for everybody who watches.
Yeah, I mean, when you see, and I'm glad you brought that up, Jacob, because when you see this team and how they played today and you see how they just sort of had the Texans number, I don't know. I mean, it seemed like Rodgers and Devontae Adams was on the same page. But, man, now I look at this team and I'm like, how the hell did the Texans lose to the Jets?
It was a trap game, right? It wasn't, but it was. I mean, the Jets had, 2 wins going into that game. They came out with a dub against Houston. It was a trap game. That was a bona fide trap game. It was Devontae Adams' second week in New York. They didn't know what he was going to do. We made some questionable offensive and defensive play calls, and it ended up costing Houston a win in that game. And I just think, I don't know, it's hard to see where the Jets go from here because if they win out, right, you still don't make playoffs and you forfeit a high draft pick that could potentially help the future team. So they're stuck in a hard place, kind of like the rest of that.
Yeah. I mean, come on. We all know it's the Buffalo Bills and nobody else when it comes to Miami might do something that Tua Valoa is back. Go Texans. There we go. All right. Okay. All right, Cowboys. All right. How about them Cowboys? All right. He came up. He threatened me with the fork again. So. All right, we can move on to the Pittsburgh Steelers game here because it looks like this game got just out of control fast here. Justin Tucker is having a bad year for kicking field goals. Never thought we would say that. But here it looks like with about 54 seconds left to go in this game, look like the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to get a win at home against the Baltimore Ravens. This is great stuff.
This is not the outcome that I expected of this game, but that Pittsburgh pass rush is enough to disrupt absolutely anything. And on that, what was it, the opening drive, Derrick Henry fumbled that ball away. I think that really threw off the mojo for this game, and they never really recovered from that. And like I said, they made Lamar Jackson uncomfortable all
Well,
game.
and they knew that's what they needed to do. Yeah, that fumble by Derrick Henry early on. Too bad the Steelers were unable to punch it in for the 7. They did get the field goal. But, man, this has just been one of those low-scoring games, and these are the ugly type of games that the Pittsburgh Steelers win. They don't – it's never going to be fancy. It's never going to be, like the Detroit Lions, of course.
Naturally.
They get it done.
It's crazy that this is the hallmark of Tomlin, right? Like this, he is really good at winning these close, gritty games where neither team is playing exceptionally well, but Pittsburgh is the best team at being not the best team on the field that I have ever seen in my lifetime. Like they deserve every win they get because the good teams find a way to win, and Pittsburgh ends up coming out on top in all of these.
Yeah, it's a final now from Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh. The Steelers win over the Baltimore Ravens by a score of 18-16. They improved to 8-2, and the Baltimore Ravens now are 7-4, I believe, or
7-4.
Yeah, so I tell you what, now they will meet again, probably a little bit later on in the year. So we'll see how that goes. But this was a monumental win for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It was, and if you would have said this to me a couple of weeks ago, I would have laughed in your face. But there's a real-world chance that Pittsburgh could be vying for the number 1 seed in the AFC. You have Kansas City playing the Buffalo Bills. If they lose that game, they're only 1 game ahead for that first seed in the AFC, and Pittsburgh really could make a push for it.
We'll find out on Christmas Day, I do believe, right?
Sure
I think that's
yes,
when
sir.
you got the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I believe it's Christmas Day that the Chiefs and the Steelers are going to play each other. This is incredible. What's really unlikely coming into the season, you didn't know who was going to be the quarterback. You didn't know if it was going to be Justin Fields or Russell Wilson. Then Mike Tomlin decides, okay, well, let's see what Fields is going to give us. Fields goes out there and wins a couple of his games. He gets off to a shaky start, but he improves. Now he brings in Russell. Russell Wilson now is undefeated. It's sort of what I thought was going to happen anyway.
Yeah, it makes sense, especially with the intangibles tied to the Russell Wilson contract and this, that, and the other, or the Justin Fields contract where if he plays X amount of games, the compensation changes and this, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm.
But Russ didn't play his best game today. He threw a boneheaded pick to Marlon Humphrey in the back of the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
That Pittsburgh Steelers defense is legit.
It is legit. Good. And that's why you get these low-scoring games here, because they know that sometimes the offense is going to struggle and they're not going to be able to put points up. So you got to have a strong defense. And that has been the Steelers'
mantra,
MO for forever. It's always been built on defense. I think, you're not going to see a lot of blowouts. You're not going to see them drop 40 or 50 points a lot. They're just going to go out there and grind it out for 4 quarters and get it done. That is a big win by the Steelers today. And, of course, I'm happy. AJ, can you see my face, AJ?
Yeah, I was thinking to myself.
The pearly whites are shining, man. That's why you brush your teeth when you know you're going to be on YouTube, so you can smile when the Steelers win.
You're supposed to brush your teeth all the time, not just then.
Yeah,
but,
actually, I'm with you on that, AJ.
I do every day. I floss too, by the
sure.
way. Okay, all right. So anyway, how did we get on that conversation anyway? But a great win. I'm excited. And I know we got some more games here. Like I said, the late window is underway. We got the Falcons playing the Broncos, which is a good matchup. We're going to give you an update on that when we come back. We also have the NFC West matchup, and that's going to be the San Francisco 49ers. Are they at home or are they on the way? I can't. I know they're playing the Seattle Seahawks. I think this game is in San Francisco, right? Or
if I was better at my job, I would be able to answer that question.
We'll let that. Okay, no, it's in San Francisco. So right now, 3-0 score there, from what I'm seeing. Right, the Falcons are down right now. The Broncos are up 7-0, and I don't believe the Chargers. Well, no, that's the late game there.
No, the KC and Buffalo was the only staggered game. They started 15 minutes later.
That game should be kicking off here in a minute. That game is at Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. So we'll get you an update on all of that. But right now, folks, if you hear all the noise, if you see the background here, this is Frankie's Sports Bar, one of the most premier sports bars in all of downtown Houston. There's no bar that's packed like this one here. And this is one great place. I got to thank Brittany Smith and the owner here for getting us down here. That's Bill Katz and Johnny.
Every table was full out here.
Yeah.
I tell you what, if y'all are in the Dallas area, come check Frankie's out. The food has been phenomenal, and the sweet tea is perfect.
Okay, I don't need you to pass out from that sweet tea. Yeah, we got another hour and a half of shows to do. Rachel, just don't
I
let
have a
them
substitute.
Yeah, don't let them pass out on that sweet tea. So, all right, but yeah, we got a menu because there's a couple of things here that I wanted to talk about on the menu. They have the fried pickles, which is a staple, and
Those cheese
here
bites are
this part
great.
of the country
Yeah.
in Texas. So, but anyway, we'll talk about that when we come back. We got more action to talk about from the early games, as well as get you scores from the games that are playing right now. You are listening to Jacob Meadows, Mean Gene. This is the Mean Gene Show, broadcasting live from Franken Sports Bar right here on ESPN 97.5 H-Town.
Now back to Mean Gene, broadcasting live from the Veritex Community Bank Studios.
All right, folks, we are back once again. It's the Mean Gene Show with Jacob Meadows and Mean Gene. I is he is I. We are at 1303 Main Street and downtown Dallas. So nice to be out of the look. AJ, we love you, man. We as much as we love to be in the studio today, but man, it's just so much. There's like what 50 gazillion TVs here, and right now my head is just about to blow up, Jacob, because there's just so much action here. Now I do like our TVs in the studio, but this is like madness.
There's just more, right?
Yeah,
like
this is just more.
It's 360 degrees around us. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see multiple behind us, and they have done a good job covering this entire bar with enough TVs to broadcast every game that you could want.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't miss anything. So, all right, just real quick here. It appeared that the Buffalo get the
Buffalo picked off.
So
Patrick
that game
Mahomes.
has started. The
game.
Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs, which is a game we're really going to be focusing on here this afternoon. We get you as many updates as we can. Right now, no score. They just getting underway. We also have it's 7-3 Broncos over the Atlanta Falcons, and We have, I think there was another game. Is the San Francisco?
San Francisco's up 7-3 on Seattle right now.
Okay, all right. So then, so that's where we are here. But we are going to go and cover some more of the games that took place in the early window, and that is how about the Minnesota Vikings, who are now 8-2. They defeat the Tennessee Titans, who are 2-8. Boy, two opposite records there. Minnesota wins 23-13. Good to see the Vikings get back in the win column, and Sam Darnold looked like he had a good game today in Nashville.
He had a pretty good game, and you know who else had a good game? Jordan Addison finally started to figure things out. You know, Jordan's been kind of on the same level as Jalen Waddle this season, where he's not having a terrible season, but it's most certainly not what people thought he was going to produce. And Jordan Addison absolutely torched the Titans today. He looked really good. Sam Darnold looked efficient. And it looks like, you know, maybe that bubble's not bursting for Minnesota after all. Maybe they were just having a couple of down weeks, and they've ironed everything out. Now they're coming back. Maybe they really are going to make a run. I don't think they're better than Detroit, but they could make a run for a wild card spot.
Yeah,
So.
because since they went to the new format, right? So you get your 4 division winners and you get 3 wild cards.
Yes.
So that's going to be interesting because I still think, Jacob, that you're probably looking at 2 teams coming out of the NFC North. You might even get 3.
You could get 3
because I'm not sure what Green Bay did here. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit, but you know those are the 3 top teams in that division, and they're all in the win column. So we'll see what goes on with that. But this was a big win for Sam Darnold. 248 yards today, 2 touchdowns, no picks.
Yep.
Because he's been throwing the ball to the other team.
He's been doing that
the
a
last
lot.
couple of weeks. So he no picks there. Will Levis, I tell you what, man, I don't know the Titans, and I would say this till I'm blue in the face. You don't fire Mike Vrabel unless you got a pretty good damn game plan. I don't know what the Titans are doing.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. And, you know, as a Will Levis supporter, right, like at the back end of last season, Will Levis started to figure it out. It was like he knew how to play quarterback a little bit. And even I drafted him to 2 of my fantasy teams. I was like, he's going to improve. He's got all of the intangibles. He's got legs. He can throw deep. He just is not – he's not a great quarterback. And you kind of have to wonder if the Titans maybe swing for a quarterback in the offseason or in the draft just to give him a run for his money. Because, things look pretty bad in Tennessee. Mason Rudolph isn't the answer. He's no better than Will Levis. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah. And then let's talk about the running. So it's bad. It's one thing you got a bad passing game. How about the running game? Man, Tony Pollard is not the answer.
No.
For you give up Derrick Henry for Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard today, 9 carries, 15 yards. Oh, my goodness. Is that not the worst?
Well, I feel bad for Tony because, you know, they can stack the box against the run. They know that the passing game isn't going to be a threat, so they're able to stack against Tony Pollard. I do believe Tony could be a good running back if they had an offense that could sustain drives and had a quarterback that could move the ball downfield without the running back being the only weapon on the field. I really do. I believe that Tony's better than what his stats look like, and there will probably be a team that gets him on the cheap after this contract is up, and he's going to play like a dog for whoever he goes to.
Who's
after
coaching
Tennessee.
the Titans now?
That is a great
it's
Brian. Yeah.
So it just looks like a one and done here.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do here? Now he could always, in his defense, saying, "Well, look, we made wholesale changes in our team, and you know we're going to give Will Levis a chance or whatever." I don't see how anyone could think the future is bright in Nashville.
No, there's so many holes on that team. And I get, like, you inherited this team, right? He's a first-year coach, so that is the thing. But at some point, you have to make the most out of what you have available to you, you know, kind of like the Carolina Panthers are. There's no excuse.
Yeah. And I think, believe it or not, I think this Titans team is worse than the Carolina Panthers.
I have to agree.
In some regards.
Yeah, in most regards. Carolina is a better team than Tennessee right now, which, you know, bodes well for my Texans. But outside of that, like, Tennessee has a lot of things that they need to figure out. They need to figure it out sooner rather than later.
Yeah, sooner rather than later. So, okay, this game I thought was going to be the what had happened was, but then came the Detroit Lions. So we'll save that for the second hour of the show. But how about the New Orleans Saints? They play at home there in the Superdome. They beat the Cleveland Browns 35-14. And I tell you what, man, the Saints are getting back in the win column there. They are 4-7. Browns dropped to 2-8. And what a day for Derek Carr. I mean, not spectacular numbers, but not bad numbers. 21 of 27, 248 yards, almost like Sam Donald, 2 touchdowns. And Jameis Winston, boy, he is not shy from throwing that ball. He put it up 46 times, 395 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean,
Yeah,
not bad, but they
they
lose
can't
by 21.
they can't do anything consistently on offense. And also credit to New Orleans, right? They moved Marshawn Lattimore, who has been their best corner for years. They fired Dennis Allen as their head coach, and then all of a sudden, this offense remembers how to play football. The defense is cohesive. Like New Orleans really could be a threat. And I doubt there are very many people out there that would have said that the moment Dennis Allen got fired. But New Orleans looks pretty good.
So this is 2 wins in a row post Dennis Allen, right?
That is
so
correct.
Not bad. I mean, come on. When you're looking at the NFC South now, which seems to be a 2-team race between the Atlanta Falcons and I don't even know if it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers anymore.
They're so
now
injured.
that when Evans went down and
Chris Godwin's
Godwin.
down.
So I don't know. It looked like it's probably just going to be. And I tried to think about this, while driving here this afternoon. Are you going to get 2 teams out of the NFC South?
I doubt it.
It looked good
Sure.
at one time, but I don't think that's going to be the case now. But yeah, 35-14 there, and Alvin Kamara, man, I mean, you're just going to run this guy to the ground. I think Alvin Kamara. I think this is his last year with. Well, I know he signed an extension.
He signed an extension. Yeah.
I had to catch myself there. He did sign the extension, but man, there's just no way this Saints team is going to get any better.
It's going to wear Kamara down. I mean, at some point, the wear and tear is going to be physically visible. He hasn't lost a step, but, I mean, you can only run and pass to the same guy over and over and over again for so many seasons
They
in a
become
row.
so predictable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
they do.
It is just it is becoming an issue, and it probably is his last season in New Orleans. I could see them swinging for a running back in the first 3 rounds. Not in the first, right? There's too many other holes, but I could see them taking a swing in the 2nd or 3rd round for a primo running back in the draft just so that they have somebody to offset Kamara.
Yeah, so just a big win for the Saints, a bad loss for the Cleveland Browns. And I tell you what, so it looked like Jameis Winston is probably where they don't have a choice because Watson's out for the year. But
Yeah.
This is sort of Jameis Winston's last hurrah.
Yeah, I hope it's not because Jameis Winston's a national treasure, and the quotes that he puts out into the media are by far the best that you're going to get out of a professional athlete. But yeah, no, I mean, if Jameis can't turn this around, then you do have to wonder if anybody goes after. I mean, he's a good backup, right? Like he would make a great backup somewhere. He's a great team guy. Every locker room loves him.
I think that's what he's playing for. I could really see him in Carolina.
Yeah.
Let's say if they were to part ways with Bryce Young. I mean, yeah, I'm just saying, speaking out loud, so to speak.
Even if they parted ways with Andy Dalton, he's a glue guy. He could go in there, be the backup to Bryce just in case something happens, just like Andy Dalton is.
Big numbers there,
Yeah.
but it's just that it doesn't equate to win.
That is correct.
And I'm not really sure. I didn't see this game, so I'm not understanding the stats because the quarterback stats were pretty similar. So I don't know where it must have been turnovers or something in this that would have been the difference in this game.
I am not totally sure on that myself. We were here at Frankie's, where we sat before you got here, Gene, because we were early. We couldn't get into our hotel whenever we actually got here. The one TV that was obstructed from where we were sitting just happened to be the Cleveland game. I have Cedric Tillman on 2 of my fantasy teams. I was really pulling for the Browns today.
I haven't even looked at any of the fantasy football. We'll get into that here a little bit later, but. I tell you what, so let's get you an update on 3 late games that are currently underway. The Buffalo Bills right now, with 10 minutes left in the first quarter, they up 6-0.
Shanked the extra point.
That's never good. And, of course, the Denver Broncos at home, they are beating the Atlanta Falcons by a score of 7-3 as the same score in San Francisco there. It's 7-3. The 49ers are leading the Seahawks. This is a game I want to keep an eye on. Of course, we want to keep an eye on this game as well. But, man, the NFC West will be won by who, Jacob Meadows?
It's hard to tell. I mean, if CMC can get fully healthy, I think the 49ers have a really good shot, right? George Kittle's out today, so they have to worry about Kittle being banged up. They have to worry about Ayuk's replacement, right? It's not like they brought another receiver in. So you have Ricky Pearsall, and you have Debo and Juwan Jennings. So if they can get some sort of cohesiveness out of this group of guys, and if Kittle can come back healthy, and if CMC can stay healthy, it's got to be the Niners, but if I'm not mistaken, right now the Cardinals are winning that division.
Well, yeah, the Cardinals are winning that division, and that's why every game is critical. We get to the Rams here. I don't know what they did today. We'll cover that, but that I'm just saying that whoever wins that division is probably going to have a 500 record, or maybe could be worse.
You could see like something similar to what would come out of the South, being like a 7-9 record, right? Or 7-9 still is correct, or would it be 7-10? It's 7-10. 7-10. Yeah. So you could see something like that coming out of the West because they cannibalize each other. There is no other division in football that just goes back and forth as bad as the NFC West.
Every year seems to be that way. So anyway, and we of course cannot wait to talk about the big game Monday night, and that's the Houston Texans versus the Dallas Cowboys. Our Texans fans that were here, we still got the one over there, so maybe we can get him to come on later on in the show. He left, but that is of course why we are here. We had to come down here and support our Texans because I think they are going to beat those Cowboys tomorrow. And I know, AJ, don't you cut my microphone off. I know it. I just feel like he's doing something in that studio right now. He never wants to hear about those Cowboys.
When we talk about the game, I have more to say.
Okay. Okay. So anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we got one more segment here in this first hour. Jacob Meadows, Mean Gene, live at Frankie's Sports Bar, downtown Dallas on ESPN 97.5 Houston.
This is the Mean Gene Show
on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
from the Veritex Community Bank Studios. Here's Mean Gene.
All right, that first hour, man, it goes by so fast, Jacob, when you're not at home here. Good thing we got like some structure here, with just knowing what the hell is going on because AJ guides us when we're in H Town, but we're on our own now. And look, there's probably what 200-300 people in here, and there's a lot of beer and there's a lot of football, and it's just amazing we know what the hell we're doing right now.
The fact that we've stayed on track as well as we have, it is mind-boggling. I'm so proud of us, to be
Oh
honest
yeah,
with you. Yeah.
we have to be. So, all right, Jacob Meadows from the coaches' quarters here, and Mean Gene here. It's the Mean Gene Show, ESPN 97.5 Houston. We are enjoying our staycation, I guess, here in I used to live here. I lived here for 10 years in Dallas.
Do you miss it?
Oh, why hell no? Because I can tell you right now, one of the worst things you could ever do is live here and not be a Dallas Cowboys fan,
That's fair.
and that was something that was tough.
I could see that. That would be a problem.
That was tough. But I'm gonna tell you something about these fans here. Dallas is a sports town, and I think the Cowboys makes that case there. But the Rangers won the World Series a couple of years ago.
They did.
So sports talk radio is real popular here in Dallas, and I can say this that even when we had the Sports Kings and the Mean Gene Show, that originated out here in Dallas, still have loyal fans that follow the show, and I could say probably the majority of my the ones that follow us on the podcast come from Dallas in the state of Texas.
That's pretty cool.
So I mean, even though they know I'm not rolling with the Cowboys, that didn't stop them from supporting this show.
Well, I think the biggest thing that helps that is you're not your primary is the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're a Steelers guy. It's hard
So
to
I'm
hate
no
it.
threat to them.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to hate a Steelers guy.
Yeah,
'cause
AJ, you guys got that win over
y'all are
us,
the
but
Cowboys of the AFC.
Yeah, it
I
doesn't
know, so-
even mean anything now, but yeah.
I know, but I mean, look, but this is an incredible town here. In the city, we're right in the heart of downtown. Like where one-way streets go one way and the other. You almost turn down a one-way street trying to get here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got all sorts of lost. I was going left when I needed to go right. Yeah, I'm not a city driver.
In every downtown in a metropolitan area, folks, just the downtown has to be that way. The streets have to be one way
Yeah.
so they can move the traffic. Some people, you imagine if they just let you turn every damn place you wanted to.
That's true. Yeah, we almost got hit by a train. Like
Oh.
they have the rail that runs through here. It
No.
jumped out at
Yeah,
us.
they
It
don't
was
stop for
crazy.
nobody.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't stop for anybody. But the homeless situation is pretty intense downtown here, which was a shocker because it
Worse
wasn't
than
like
expected.
that. The last time I did a show here, it just wasn't like that. But sort of reminded me of LA. I lived in LA too. But man, we are so happy to be here today. Want to thank, of course, and I'm going to thank these guys for throughout the show. Bill and Johnny, they run a great place, and you discovered the underground down here.
Yeah.
That is huge, huh?
They have a whole, well, so I couldn't go down there, but they do have a whole underground area. It's roped off right now. They've got something going on down there, so it's not open to the public.
That's where the parties go down, man.
Yeah, it's dope.
That's where Mean Gene gets down there on a Saturday night and let my hair down.
Oh,
I mean, we get down, there, and man, it's the get down to the get down there. I'm surprised we ain't hearing any music coming from down there. Cowboys beat the Texans tomorrow night. That place is going to be bumping down
it'll be
there.
bumping. Yeah,
Yeah, so
it'll be quiet. It's
all right, we're going to try to sneak another game in here from the early window here. And oh, wait a minute. We said we
how
would
about
go.
Las Vegas v Miami?
Yeah, how about this one? How about no, it didn't happen that way. It was the Miami Dolphins beating the Raiders 34-19. I didn't watch this game, although I'm not surprised of the score. The Raiders, I think Gardner Minshew looked like he played the day, 282 yards, put the ball up 43 times. It looks like Tua Tagovailoa is coming back. Tua put the ball up 36 times, 288 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Brain's not broken anymore. I think he is almost completely back from the concussion. It does put Miami in a precarious situation, though, because where their record sat, they were in line to get a really good draft pick in the draft, whereas now that they look like they're heating up, they're winning all these games, they're losing their draft stock, and there's a good chance they don't sniff the playoffs no matter how well they finish out. So it's interesting. It is nice to see Tua slinging it again. I am glad that
it
he's
is.
healthy.
Yeah.
you're getting to see Jalen Waddle come out of his shell a little more. You know, they had that big story that broke about Tyreek Hill having the torn ligament in his wrist, and when he got detained and what have you by the police, it made that worse. And so they're kind of working through all of these other positions. They're like Jonnu Smith is blown up. They're tight end.
Yeah. How about that? I mean, give it up to Mike McDaniel. Is it Mike McDaniel for actually getting the, just changing things up because you're thinking it's going to be Waddle and Hill, Waddle and Hill, and to get Jonnu Smith involved is pretty incredible. But yeah, you're right. We'll talk about the standings in the next hour because I agree with you that I don't think that only one team is going to come from the AFC East, and that's going to be the Buffalo Bills.
Correct.
I mean, things could change though.
There's still a lot of season left. It's just the probability of that actually coming true is getting slimmer by the day.
It is. So the one bright spot for the Las Vegas Raiders would have to be Brock Bowers, man. This kid, this guy's the real deal. He was targeted 16 times.
Nuts.
He's a tight end, right?
He is a tight end.
Oh, my goodness.
Out of Georgia. Brock Bowers, football guy.
13 receptions, 126 yards, a touchdown. Just as advertised, you get what you get from Brock Bowers.
He's going to shatter every rookie tight end record that exists, and he deserves every accolade he gets because he is the heart and soul of that Raiders offense this season. With as dysfunctional as they have been, Brock Bowers is a savior.
Is that a tush push from the Denver Broncos?
From the Denver Broncos? It looked like it.
What was going on up there? But anyway, the Raiders quarterback situation here. So Minshew's in because
O'Connell had I think he broke his thumb on his throwing hand or something to that effect.
I just don't know if they got the weapons to put the ball up 43 times, though.
Well, they don't. They traded Devontae Adams. Jacoby Myers has been hurt most of the year. Trey Turner's good, but he's not, no offense to Trey Turner because I do think he's a good player. He's a fast receiver, but he's small. And it's just one of those things. I don't know. The Raiders have a lot of holes. They need a lot of help. And I don't want to see AP get fired, but I honestly couldn't poke very many holes in the argument that AP could get fired after this season. They could bring somebody else in.
Look, he's on a short contract as it is.
Yeah.
A 2-year contract. So, I mean, I think you just pretty much let him stick it out. But what I see happening or what's probably going to happen in Vegas is the fact that he's going to end up probably being part of a draft that he won't be around to see the benefits of it.
Yeah, and the worst part about that is if your picks hit, you don't get the credit for it.
Yeah.
Like he's gone, so everybody.
We see that a lot in football.
You do, and it tarnishes somebody's legacy, and then somebody else steps in, and they're able to do something with the players you brought in, and kind of like the whole John Gruden situation, right? He takes over way back in the day, ends up winning a Super Bowl with Tampa.
Yeah,
and it wasn't his team.
Yeah, I mean, Dungy put. I mean, it just happens though, and that's because it's like the NFL, what it stands for, not for long.
Not for long.
Things
indeed.
will change and change quickly. So, although with this Raiders team, you could already see the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
Antonio Pierce would not be the future of the Raiders. They've made it clear by the 2-year contract that they offered him.
Yeah, and for the first year, he was a rah-rah guy, and like he really did. He had that Raiders persona about him. I think. I don't know.
I mean, you called a couple of weeks ago the firing
Luke
of
Getsy getting canned, and then he got
offensive
canned.
coordinator. So
yeah.
I mean, was that his guy?
I'm wondering if Mark Davis put this staff together. That would be the only thing that I could say would keep the rest of this staff together going into next season. Is if Mark Davis is who actually put this staff together. And now that it's floundering, maybe they'll give AP a little slack, and he'll be able to bring in some of his own guys. And I do think that could potentially help him in the long run, because it's not a bad team. That's not what this is. The Raiders are not a bad team. They just play really poorly, and it feels like there are a lot of questionable coaching decisions made.
A lot. So, yeah, I know it sucks to be a Raiders fan. Look, we spent a year out there, Virgin Hotels, covering those guys, and, man, another disappointing season for the Raiders. Okay, real quick before we wrap up this first hour, let's get you caught up on the scores here. It looks like the score remains the same with about 4:13 left in the first quarter. The Buffalo Bills 6-0 over the Kansas City Chiefs. Bills are trying to knock the Chiefs from the unbeaten ranks. If any team can do it, they can do it. Josh Allen has basically owned Patrick Mahomes in the regular season.
Yes.
Regular season, I say. Playoffs, a whole different story. And we also have a 14-3 Broncos lead over the Falcons there. So now is this going to be one of those games where Kirk Cousins sort of heats up in the second half, or is this Broncos defense going to hold serve?
I mean, this Broncos defense is legit. It might not be quite as good as the Steelers defense, but Sean Payton I am not a Sean Payton fan. I dislike him greatly, but man, he has put together a squad there in Denver.
Yeah, this is a pretty good game there. So, and then we have the nail biter that's happening right now at Levi Stadium there. The 49ers 7-6 over the Seahawks. So, hey, folks, when we come back, stick around. Second hour is going to be exciting. We're going to continue to cover the early games, get you up to date. We got our What Had Happened Was coming up in the next hour. And, man, do we have a treat for you, because we haven't talked a lot about the Sunday night game, and there's a reason why. And I'm going to hold on to that until the next hour, until we get over there in the next hour. But, hey, I hope you are enjoying this show, folks. We are live here at Frankie's Sports Bar. Me and Jacob Meadows down here at 1303 Main Street. You're driving around, come down and check us out. We'll see you. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, we
come back for the second
hour.
hour.
Come back for the second hour. You listen to the Mean Gene Show right here, live from Frankie's, ESPN 97.5 Houston. They're going to be jumping up and down tomorrow night when the Texans beat the Dallas Cowboys. That's what's going to be happening. That's that song that I'm going to be hearing all night. All right, okay, let me settle down. Welcome to the second hour of the Mean Gene Show. Jacob Meadows, Mean Gene. We are on site in Dallas. We couldn't just sit around in Houston and wait for a big game like tomorrow night. We had to actually come down here, Jacob Meadows.
We came out
and see this
into the field amongst the Dallas fans.
We're in the heart of Dallas. We're in that. What's that song? The heart here in the heart of
Texas.
Yeah, I can't sing worth a damn. But anyway, Thank you for sticking with us because you have to know that we have a jam-packed hour coming up here. The second hour, man. This is one of those days where we need a 4-hour show. Can we borrow 2 hours from somebody's show?
Yeah.
AJ, there's nothing coming on after our show, right? Just run it. Just run it back, man. AJ said, yeah, I'm not losing my damn
my
job.
favorite. Yeah.
AJ said, yeah, you're not gonna get me fired today. Well, all right, okay. So we're gonna make good with our 1 hour that we have here. So much going on here, folks. We got the late games happening, Jacob. We got the 49ers. I'm not able to see the 49ers.
I don't think they're
Seahawks
playing it on
game.
any of these
So I
TVs.
look at mostly
we
they're
lied.
showing.
It's going to be on this
Okay,
one.
so
right
it's going to be on that one.
across from us.
So most of the games are the Chiefs and Bills, which understandably so. But we also have this one. What we did have. Oh, so we
It's
got
this one.
the the Broncos
Falcons,
and
Broncos.
the Falcons on that one. So we're just trying to keep up with everything. Of course, this segment here, man. Second hour, the what had happened was. We're going to talk about that and the Sunday night game. We haven't talked much about it because guess what? It's the Cincinnati Bengals and the LA Chargers. I think it's at SoFi Stadium.
I believe so.
So later on in the show, folks, we got a special guest, Ickey Woods. You remember the former running back, the Ickey Shuffle that he played with the Cincinnati Bengals in that Super Bowl many years ago. And, of course, he was a standout running back at UNLV. The Ickey Shuffle, going to join us to talk about the Bengals and the Sunday night game. That is a treat. Stick around. We spent a lot of time with Ickey out there in Las Vegas, man. He tried to teach us how to do that shuffle. He can't do it like he used to.
It's Father Time's
knees.
undefeated.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's the treat we got for you. And, of course, me and Jacob, we are going to break down tomorrow's game between the Cowboys and the Texans. I think, do we still have our Texans fan over there? I think he bailed out on us.
I think he left. Yeah, we lost him.
Well, we had a couple of them in here. I think they just probably went home trying to get ready for
the game. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Got to bring the energy.
I think they saw that we was in here. They felt comfortable knowing that okay, H-Town's here, and so we good. We good with that. So, and of course, we still have some more scores from the early games that we need to talk about. But is this where we do? Is this the what had happened?
This is the what had happened.
AJ, what had happened was. I think we're ready for that now. We're gonna get that going here.
What had happened was.
Well, I'll tell you what had happened. The Detroit Lions is what happened. They beat the brakes off the Jacksonville Jaguars 52-6. This might be our worst. What had happened was we might have to change this segment to who got their ass whipped today.
It's got to be who got the ass whipped by the Detroit Lions. It feels like they're on the other side of this most weeks. Yeah.
What had happened was don't even cut it no more.
Man,
who got beat by the Detroit Lions today?
Detroit's going to get Doug Peterson fired. That is what's going to happen.
My goodness.
52-6 is just an absolute blasting. And, I mean, as much as I love it, right, as a Texans fan, it's great when Jacksonville gets pummeled. But good God.
And look how they do it, okay? Let's just look at the defense side. They had players that got hurt, Aiden Hutchinson. So they give up 6 points in the first half, and then they tighten the screws in the second half. Jaguars get no points in the third and fourth quarter. Meanwhile, Jared Goff, oh my Lord,
needs to be considered.
Who has
for MVP?
him in our fantasy league? I did not. No one even touched Jared Goff when fantasy football started.
He went like round 8 or 9. He was a late pickup. Yeah,
Jared Goff, 24 of 29, not a lot for 412 yards, 4 touchdowns. Oh, that's got to be worth 40 points right in fantasy football.
Joe Burrow got me a little over 40 the other week when he threw 5 touchdowns. Yeah, it's got to be close.
Goodness. But look how they spread this. This is what's going to make the Lions so damn scary. They put up 7 in the first quarter. They just kind of filling things out.
Yeah.
21 in the second quarter, 14 in the third, 10 in the fourth quarter to cap it off. And what a game. And that's just in the air. How about David Montgomery? 15 carries for 72 yards, 2 touchdowns. I got him in my fantasy.
I have him in my fantasy as well.
Bright spot there.
And Jahmyr Gibbs also had a good game.
And Amon-Ra St. Brown. I haven't even looked at my fantasy numbers yet. How about this, boy? He was targeted 11 times, got all of those receptions for 161 yards, 2 touchdowns. He averaged 14.6 a damn catch. Is that crazy?
He has come on so strong. And, like, what Dan Campbell is doing in Detroit, of all places, is nothing short of magic, right? Like, the Lions have been a laughingstock for almost my entire life, right? You had the Megatron, you had Matt Stafford, but they never won. And Dan Campbell has come in and just completely just reinvigorated this culture in a way that they win, and they like winning, and they continue to win as opposed to falling off like we've seen in years past. And it's a beautiful thing, Gene.
I take it back in a sense that I said there's always a team that does well, makes the playoff the previous year, and don't make it the next year.
Mhm.
I thought it was going to be the Lions. That didn't happen.
Oh, that was a bad bet. Yeah, I mean,
That was a bad bet. They reloaded. And when I
They
say
only-
reloaded, they didn't bring on any additional players.
no, and
This
the
is
only
the same
the only
team.
reason they lost last year, though, is because they were too aggressive. And I think that is just the way Dan Campbell coaches. He's either going to get it or he's not. He's not apologetic for it if he doesn't get it. And I mean, they're so good.
I tell you what, man, the playoffs are going to be spectacular. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
Because don't blink, people. Because I know Kansas City is undefeated, and I know Detroit is on a hell of a damn streak here.
They only have one loss this season.
Yeah,
so
only
far.
one
Yeah.
loss, so they might go 16-1. I wouldn't. Just looking at their schedule there, I think they got another date with Green Bay.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about they own the Vikings. I'm not worried about the Vikings.
Yeah.
Not worried about the Bears. Green Bay might give them a run, but look, at the most, they're not going to lose no more than 2 games this year.
No, and through week 11, in my personal opinion, it's looking a lot like it's going to be a Philadelphia and Detroit NFC championship again.
We can say that now. Things
A
can
lot can
change.
change.
Though. A lot can change.
But
And we'll talk about the standards in the next segment.
Detroit
because,
looks good, though, in every
Ooh.
facet of the game.
I didn't see it. And you always get a drop off. And I guess this year's drop off is the team that they beat 52-6, which would be the what is going on? What happened? What has changed in Jacksonville to where they are not relevant this year?
Trevor Lawrence got paid. You can see around the league, every quarterback that gets paid, the talent falls off a little bit. It's like they forget they play football for a living, and that's the only thing you can point at because nothing else changed.
Travis Etienne not the same.
No, well, he's been hurt.
Okay,
But they do have
okay.
a run game, though, right? Like Dearness Johnson has been pretty well. Tank Bigsby's a stud. Travis Etienne has looked good when healthy. Like, it genuinely doesn't make any sense that Jacksonville's fallen off as far as they have, just because the roster's almost the same. They lose Calvin Ridley. That's their biggest loss. And they did lose Christian Kirk for the rest of the season because of the broken collarbone. But they have Brian Thomas. And there's no reason for this team to be as bad and as inconsistent as they've been.
So they have lost 4 in a row. I guess this loss today counts. It does. They are 2-9. They're 0-6 on the road. Forget about winning on the road. That's not going to happen. Just a bad team. Non-conference 0-5. They just can't beat anybody. And after the Urban Meyer experience, I just thought okay, well, we knew that was a bad decision. But bringing in a Super Bowl winning coach like Doug Peterson, I thought there was going to be a change.
Maybe it would have helped. Yeah, I thought the same thing. And I know there was a lot of hate for Doug Peterson. There was a reason he was chased out of Philadelphia. You can paint him in any light you want, but there's no reason it shouldn't have improved the Jaguars.
You talk about the team, a playoff team that will not make the playoffs. They are so far away from that playoffs. And as a matter of fact, looking at the AFC South, Jacob, the Texans, I'll tell you what, the Colts are not going away, even though the Texans have beaten them twice.
We did
so
sweep
that's
them,
not
so
going to matter.
Don't have to worry as much because
But
the Colts they're breathing
sneak
down our neck.
They could sneak their way into a wild card if they keep this up.
If Anthony Richardson can show that he has developed and that he really did improve after being benched, man, I tell you what, the Colts could be a threat. They really could. They have a good defense. They have offensive weapons, and if AR can really get going, they have a good quarterback.
Yeah, they really do. So, so that is our would had happened was. I think we're going to change the name of that. We have to come up with something a little bit more spectacular. AJ, were you surprised at just the dominance of the of the Lions? Are they scary or what?
Oh no, for sure, and that's the biggest reason why I want Ben Johnson to be the coach in Dallas because he would be able to transform that offense. I mean, what he's able to bring to Detroit, how he's able to, like Jacob said, spread things out to utilize all the weapons. It's crazy to see, and they're dominating right now, and they look like the best team in NFC and really the NFL right now. I know the Chiefs are undefeated right now, winning right now too, but the Lions they've been dominant this year.
Oh, I tell you what. I mean, it just look, and this is why you got to watch the NFL. You got to be really careful. We would just love to think that it's going to be the Chiefs and the Lions in the Super Bowl, but I guarantee that that's not even remotely close as what's going to happen. I mean, because it just looks like the two number one seeds, and that's happened. That has happened more rare than people think.
Yeah.
The meet up for the Super Bowl.
It's going to be the Steelers Lions, and it's going to be one of the greatest Super
Ooh,
Bowls of my
now you
lifetime.
just see now you trying to
Hey.
make me feel good. There, don't you jinx my Steelers, okay? Look, we got to win today. Don't jinx us. Oh my goodness, don't let that happen because we're gonna be down there in New Orleans when all of this takes place. I just hope the Steelers are gonna be there because I'm damn sure gonna be down there for Super Bowl 59. Looking forward to it. Okay, all right. So when we come back, Jacob, man, we got a lot more to talk about. I think there's some more games that we need to talk about. How about the Packers and Bears? We're going to get into that. We're also going to get into the Rams and the Patriots, all of that stuff, folks. Stick with us here at Frankie's Sports Bar, downtown Dallas. It's the Mean Gene Show. Jacob Meadows and Mean Gene here. We'll be right back here on ESPN 97.5 Houston.
This is the Mean Gene Show
on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
from the Veritex Community Bank Studios. Here's Mean Gene.
Wide to the left side, Romeo Doubs, and under center, here's the handoff to Jacobs. Blast up the middle, touchdown, Green Bay Packers.
All right, folks. Man, I tell you what, the Green Bay Packers have improved to 7-3. They are third place in the NFC North. Imagine that, Jacob. 7-3, third place in your division, and The Chicago Bears dropped to 4-6. They are at the bottom of the division. Packers win 20-19, and let's start with the Packers first because I mean this was one of those sort of lower scoring games like we thought here. Packers put up 7 in the first. They hold Chicago to a field goal, and then uh, second quarter no scores from the Packers. Chicago puts up 7. So uh, I mean it's just one of those in divisional rivals that you. I mean the score was indicative of how I figured it would be.
It was just one of those games, and people are really quick to forget that Chicago really does have a good defense. Like at the end of the day, Chicago's defense was top 8 in the league for the first 7 weeks of the year. Like Chicago has a really strong defense, and when they have a run game, their offense looks terrific. I am glad that Caleb Williams is struggling a little bit. All the hype and all the glamour that came with him into the league, he needed this, and I think next year he's going to be much better. But this was a good win for the Packers. They eked it out. It was a very tough victory. And I think that this shows the resilience of Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers, along with Matt LaFleur as being as good of a coach as he has become. I think this shows that in the face of adversity, the Packers really are capable of winning games against almost anybody.
Yeah, they are. And this was a great win for them. And, and look, because this division, I think 3 teams are going to make the playoffs. It looks like that. They can't afford to lose.
No.
So you got the Vikings. They improved to 8-2. Then you got the 9-1. Is it 9-1 or 10-1 or whatever?
10-1 today, I want to say.
The Lions. So I mean, this is just incredible stuff here. And so if you're Green Bay, you don't want to be outside looking in. So yeah, Lions 9-1, Vikings 8-2, and 7-3. Look, and I just hope it's not going to be one of those years where I remember the Broncos were 11-5 when they played the 16-game schedule and did not make the playoffs.
This is a wild year.
I don't see that happening because when you look at the rest of the AFC, where you still got Pittsburgh and Baltimore that are probably not going to have no more than four losses, maybe, with what's left. I think we know that the AFC South is going to be a one.
It should be a one team.
Yeah. So, but just looking at the NFC here, then you got Washington. You got the Commanders and the Eagles. If they keep winning the way they are, you got 2 teams there. So Packers have to keep winning.
There's a lot of pressure from every angle on the Packers right now to keep winning. And that's probably what I like the most about today's win, because it was not an ugly, or it was not a pretty victory. They struggled a lot. And Chicago honestly looked like they wanted this victory more, and somehow Green Bay was able to pull this thing away. So, I think they're feeling the pressure from the external sources, and I really do think that Green Bay is trying to make a run for the playoffs. And honestly, I think they really might be able to secure that third spot for their division. It's not totally out of the realm of possibility.
Well, and I want to talk about the Bears a little bit because expectations were high. I had my nephew on the show early on in the year, and I talked with him the other day. And, it looks like Ryan Poles, the GM there, he had an opportunity. He did bring in Caleb Williams, but he also had an opportunity to fire Eberflus.
Yes.
So he had, so this is like, okay, well, what do you do here? Do you make a whole bunch of changes? Well, it looks like they're going to make changes anyway because now they're calling for Matt Eberflus's job, and this is going to set Caleb Williams back. As you know what happens when you fire a coach, the whole staff goes, and Caleb Williams undergoes another.
You start over.
You start all over. So whatever he learned this year, forget about it.
Yeah, it's all dead in the water. I'm really hoping. I don't know. Matt Eberflus has not been a great coach. Like at the end of the day, he really has not been a stud of a coach. And honestly, Caleb Williams might benefit from a change, but also, like you said, he's going to regress a little bit because everything that he's soaked up this season would just mean nothing at that point. And for somebody with so much hype behind him and someone who has come in and played as average as you possibly can, I don't think that it's not going to be as big of a benefit as what some people might think it would be.
Well, could you imagine if they had Cliff Kingsbury working with Caleb Williams? I mean, how do they miss out on that opportunity?
I mean, there's been rumors circulating around that Kingsbury might be searching for another head coaching role. who's to say he doesn't supplant Eberflus in Chicago, because he could definitely use Caleb Williams.
Well, he's going to probably be the most sought-after guy. Regardless of what the Commanders end up doing, I think the Commanders are a playoff team. I really do.
Right now, yeah.
Because you look at the NFC West, you're only going to get one team out of that division.
Fair.
So we know that. You're going to get the majority of the teams. You don't want to get three. Well, you can get three because you get one division winner, you get two. So you might, Washington.
Possible.
It's going to be tough, but somebody's going to have a winning record and not make the playoffs. It's already setting up that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And at least it just means that there's a lot of parity in the league. Like, if you can have a positive record and still miss the playoffs, that just means teams are improving. And as much as it looks like coaching talent has gone down around the league for certain teams, that would indicate that it's not necessarily a lack in coaching. Like, the teams are getting better. There's so many good teams that good teams aren't making the postseason.
That's true. Okay. All right, let's get you an update. What's happening at Highmark Stadium in Buffalo? It looked like the Buffalo Bills, James Cook is in the end zone again. And the nice cut in. Woo.
That was a pretty truck straight through that guy.
Well, he earned every bit of that.
Every inch.
So Kansas City Chiefs might be going down. We may not have any unbeatens after it's all said and done. With the extra kick here, it should be 13-7 with 10:08 left in the
he hit that second quarter.
The second quarter. So this is an interesting. So Kevin the Mailman is calling me. Does he not know we're doing a damn show?
He heard us talking about the Jaguars.
So, I would pick it up, but we just don't have time right now because he stiffed us a couple of shows ago when the
That's right, he did. He was supposed to come back on.
Now he wants to call in.
Oh,
right
come on, Kevin.
We can't do that anyway. All right, let's get one more in here. The Rams are 5-5. They are third place in the NFC West. They beat the Patriots at Gillette Stadium today in Foxborough, 28-22. And I tell you what, man, they just make things more complicated in the NFC West that we're talking about here because now they're one game behind the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, the Rams kind of confuse me this year. On some weeks they play lights out, right? They're a top 10 team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And then every other week they're a bottom 5 team in the league, and it looks like they haven't played football together for weeks. This was a good game by the Rams. They did look good today. Cooper Kupp finally got in the end zone. Everything looked pretty good. They just, I don't know, man. The Rams aren't consistent enough.
I'll tell you who did look good was Matthew Stafford, huh?
Hey, Matt Stafford is
18 of 27, 4 touchdown passes. So he was, one of 2 or 3 quarterbacks today with 4 touchdown passes?
Yep.
And this is the old Matthew Stafford that I left sitting on the damn bench. I did not start him.
That's what makes you the king of fantasy, Gene.
Over Tua. Yeah,
Tua had a good game.
It makes me the king of fantasy. That's why my ass is at, I'm in 9th place.
Hey.
I'm looking for my 4th win. As a matter of fact, keep talking.
That's
Darren.
why I traded you Darnell Mooney. Hey,
we're going to talk about that. I need to see. You just keep talking. I got to look at my stats here see what the hell I'm doing anyway. You brought it up here. What the hell is going on?
Well, no, I mean Gene, everybody. And, it's been a rough go.
We're going to find out what the hell I'm doing here. You brought it up. Okay. Oh, Lord.
Look, you're doing well.
I'm not. I'm up
you're
116.
Up almost 40 points. You're welcome.
Whoa.
Look how clear that is. Yeah.
116 to 81, and I have an 81% chance to whoop somebody's ass today. Oh, Tua did give me 29 points.
I told you he had a game.
And I still got Jamar Chase coming tonight, baby.
I need him to play well.
Wait till we talk to Icky. I need Icky to call Jamar and tell him to get Mean Gene at least what last week he had 200 and something yards. I don't think we're going to get that from Jamar Chase.
No.
We're not going to get that again.
I mean, it sure would be cool if we did because I need Joe Burrow to show out for me.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, I'm winning. I didn't even know I got the Miami defense. Okay, that's okay. How many bench points did I leave? Oh, Lord.
Not very many.
Look at Stafford with 35.
He got you 6 more points than what Tua got. It's not that big of a deal.
That sucks when you got – look, you said I got 35 points sitting on the –
You're up by 40.
Yeah.
God,
okay.
I'm sorry, AJ.
All right. Anyway, let's get back. See, I wasn't even going to look at my fantasy numbers. But anyway, a big win for the Rams who, like we say in this division here, as I look at it right now, I don't know who's going to win the NFC West. You got the Cardinals at 6-4. 49ers. We can't find that game no more.
They're still up 7-6.
Okay, we don't know who's going to win that game.
Yep.
The Rams win, and the Seahawks could improve to 5-5. You could really have a three-way tie by the end of the day. I think the Cardinals got a bye, right? I forgot to mention who had the bye week, and I think
Arizona does not have a game this week.
I think they do. So anyway, we should see. I mean, it's going to be interesting though, but. I don't know. I mean, who do you pick right now to win the NFC West?
I'm going to take the 49ers. I'm going to take the 49ers just because they're finally getting healthy, and they do have the best weapons out of all the teams in the division. It's not to say that I could be wrong, and it's not to say that maybe Arizona's really actually clicking, or the Rams are actually getting hot, or the Seahawks are going to end up turning things around, but I do think the 49ers end up taking
my goodness, we just had another Cowboy fan come in here. Oh, Lord. Like we need more of them. Oh my goodness! So, what? Yeah, I do want to come back. I do. I'm gonna be nice to you, Cowboy fans. All right. Okay. So here's the bye. I forgot to tell everyone that the Cardinals, the Panthers, the Giants, and the Buccaneers all have a bye. So, someone's gonna either catch up with. The Cardinals should still be okay.
The Cardinals will still be okay
because
it's the bye.
Four losses.
You can't lose the bye week unless you're the Cleveland Browns.
No. Yeah, that's true. So the 49ers could tie them, basically.
Yes.
Is what I'm trying to say. All right, folks, we're going to wrap up this segment. And when we come back, we got a special guest joining us. Cincinnati Bengals fans, you might want to stick around. We got a good one coming up for you. It's the Mean Gene Show live from Frankie Sports Bar with Jacob Meadows right here on ESPN 97.5 Houston.
This is the Mean Gene Show
on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
from the Veritex Community Bank Studios. Here's Mean Gene.
All right, folks, we are back here once again live in Dallas, Texas at Frankie's Sports Bar and Grill, getting you ready for the big Monday night game between the Cowboys and the Houston Texans. But we got something else to talk about before that game. There's a Sunday night game that's going to take place, and that is going to be the Cincinnati Bengals and the LA Chargers. I think that game is at SoFi Stadium, Jacob. And
yes, sir.
We are more than happy to have my great friend. Look, I'm gonna call him a friend. He might call me something else because he know my team is in his division. We're talking about one of the great running backs that ever played the game. He played with the Cincinnati Bengals, And of course, he also played his college football there at UNLV. Made it to the Super Bowl. Okay, it's
Nice.
not often that we talk to a lot of Super Bowl players on this show,
That's true.
but he's a friend of the show. We had the chance to work with him out in Las Vegas, and we're talking about the man. You might know him from the Shuffle. Is Ickey Woods joining us from Cincinnati? What's up, Ickey?
Man, Gene, what's up, baby? What's up?
Ickey,
Yeah,
man,
you got that right. You got that right. I may not like you at all, man, because you're a big Steelers fan, but you my cat, man. Your boys did a good job today, and they stole another one, huh?
Well, Ickey, look, the only way me and you can talk is when we're not playing the Bengals, okay? And I know
Right, right.
that's the only reason why he agreed to do the show, Jacob. But Ickey, it's a pleasure to have you on, man. And I know that if the game was in Cincinnati tonight, I know you'll be there. But I
Oh,
know
you
it's on the
already
West
know, brother.
Coast.
You already know.
I need to know what's going to happen tonight in Los Angeles,
Well,
Ickey, because the
well,
Bengals need a
Mean Gene,
win.
we find ourselves in a must-win situation right now. So I think the guys are going to come out and play well. But, as you know, we playing against the number one defense in the Los Angeles Chargers, man. So we gotta be playing on all cylinders tonight, man, and hopefully our defense can pick it up because our offense has been playing well, man. Our offense has been scoring enough points to win, but our defense hadn't been on point, man. They've been, our offense been scoring over 30 and still losing games. So that's a little bit on our defense. So hopefully our defense come to play, man. We got a couple of pieces of the puzzles back in place. So we'll see tonight, man. I think this is our season tonight. If we can win one, we can win this one. It keeps our hopes alive of maybe making a wild card berth because we got a lot of the teams on our schedule that we have to play. We still got the Steelers twice. We got Cleveland once, so we still got three divisional games left, and then we got a couple of AFC teams left. We still have to play the Broncos, who are in playoff contentions. We got the Chargers tonight, who are in playoff contention. So we're pretty much have our destiny in our own hands, man. So we got to win.
Ickey, as far as the Chargers are concerned, is this should be a good turnaround game, right? Because like you said, the Bengals defense has been a little lacking, right? The offense is performing. There's been some strangely questionable calls against y'all. I know I've lost a couple of games by a couple of points, but the Chargers are definitely a beatable team. Out of all the things that you've seen these last couple of weeks, is there any specific point of defense that you think the Bengals just need to improve on that could ultimately cause them to get this victory?
Yeah, they have to keep teams out. They can't let teams in the end zone, man. Defense has got to, like I said, defense has got to play better, man. Because we've offense have done well enough to win some games. We had a couple of questionable calls at the beginning. The game against Kansas City was questionable, and then we make a couple of questionable calls against the Ravens, where the first game against the Ravens, if we, continue to dink and dunk and get the field goal kicker a couple of more yards instead of running 3 run plays to get no yards. And we got a field goal kicker who can kick, but it's football, and the up back or the holder mishandled the hold, and that cost us a field goal in that game. And then Big Henry takes the ball and gets a big 52-yard run and take them down to the 4-yard line, and they kick a chip shot to beat us in that one. And then, man, we just been kicking ourselves in the foot, man. So hopefully we can, get it together. But it's gonna be a good game, man. But I think we can beat them. So we'll see what happens. I know the offense is going to be clicking, but we need our defense to step up.
Mm-hmm. Hey, folks, once again, we talking to the great one, former UNLV Rebel and former Cincinnati Bengals from 88 to 91. Ickey Woods joining us on the Mean Gene Show, ESPN 97.5 Houston. So, Ike, I got to ask you a question because just looking at the Bengals this year, I know things got off to a shaky start with Jamar Chase and his disagreement with the organization, but they got that rectified pretty quick. But I mean, to me, Ike, I'm thinking the biggest change there is that this team really misses Joe Mixon.
Yeah, you right about that. You right about that. They traded Mixon to Houston, and he's down there getting it in. And then it doesn't help us that T. Higgins is sitting on the sideline, had a hamstring pull, and then he had a quad pull. So we've missed him for I think 5 or 6 games this year too, man. So that didn't help. So it's just some of the decisions that the front office makes is questionable too. They should have went on ahead and locked Chase up for another
Yeah.
5-6 years, but now they're gonna really have to drop the bank now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
if they would have went on ahead and locked him up for another 6 years, then we wouldn't have had to worry about that. But they just chose to roll the dice, and now he's having one of the best seasons ever. As of right now, he's having an MVP season right now, and he'll probably hopefully get the triple crown this year, and then they really gonna have to pay him.
Absolutely. Hey, Ike,
So,
before I talk about your foundation here, I got one more football question here. Now you being
here
a
we
former
go.
running back here, are you impressed with Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry this year? Is this not incredible stuff or what?
Oh man, yeah, especially that little hop backwards jump he did, man. I said, boy, this guy is unbelievable, man.
he he he
Just a
should have been
talent,
he
Superhero.
should have
man,
been
that,
he
that
should have been
comes
drug
around
tested.
every
That
so often.
He did get drug
And
tested.
he's great. And then Henry is he's just unbelievable, man. You got to get
yeah.
that guy before he gets turned up field. And, he's having a great year, and Barkley's having an awesome year, too, man. It's just Mixon's having a good year, man. It's just a year that hopefully the running backs can get back, get some love back, man, because
I
they
think so.
really didn't unlove the running backs for some reason.
I know. I think those two going to bring it back, Icky, and they doing a hell of a job. But Icky, I want to give you an opportunity to just let everyone know what some of the things you do off the field here, because I know I'm aware of your foundation, but I want to
Yeah.
just let our listeners in the Houston area and everybody else know exactly what you're working on.
Well, I lost my middle son to asthma 13 years ago, and so we started a foundation in his name called the Javante Woods Foundation. And what I do is I go around the country raising money for asthma research and asthma education. Hopefully, we can save some lives through the foundation and do some great things. So my whole thing is I want my son's foundation to be the face of asthma. So when you think about his foundation, you think about that Javante J, and Javante is spelled Jovante, Wood Foundation.org. If you guys want to go on our website and see some of the great things we got going on.
Man, Icky, I appreciate it. Great talking to you. I can't look.
Oh,
I'll
you
be
too.
watching the game tonight, and I look. I won't bother you, but I need y'all to win. Now I'll shoot you a
Yeah,
text.
I need us to win too, brother. And then we go on our bye week, and then we come off that bye week. You know what it is.
Oh, I ain't gonna talk to you after that week. Okay, I'll wait. You ain't gonna hear a damn peep from me until
When we
after that
come
game
off
is
that
played.
bye week, you know what it is. It's Steeler week, baby. Steeler week.
I know it. I know it. All right, folks. Icky Woods, former UNLV Rebel, Cincinnati Bengals, joining us. Hey, Icky, man, enjoy your evening. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, Mean Gene, thank you, brother. I appreciate you always looking out for me, man.
All right, Icky Woods,
All
folks.
right,
Oh,
brother.
man.
That's what's up.
Icky knows, man. We go back and forth throughout the year about. Look, I got a jersey. He signed an autograph jersey.
Nice.
And I can wear that jersey, but I can't wear it around Pittsburgh Steelers fans because they would absolutely kill me.
That makes sense.
But I love that jersey, though.
Oh, I bet. And honestly, of all the shows, like the shows that you do that I'm not a part of, Icky Woods is easily one of my top 3 favorite people that come on your show.
We have so much fun with it. We were in Las Vegas, and I'm gonna tell you, you remember the kitchen, that area where we ate breakfast at. So we're sitting down at the table, and I break out my wallet, and at the time I had the Pittsburgh Steelers wallet.
Mm-hmm.
Iggy saw that wallet, he went, "Oh hell no!" And he didn't know at that time that I was a Steelers fan. He's like, "I can't believe this guy gonna break out a damn Pittsburgh Steelers wallet in front of me." It was no disrespect to
Poor
Iggy.
Iggy.
No, I know. So great stuff there, and man, I tell you what, we can just this Sunday night game here. Who do you like in this game here with the?
I like Cincinnati. I think this is an easy game for them to turn their defense around a little bit easier. And I'm taking Cincinnati. I just don't think the Chargers' defense is very good. Cincinnati's offense is better. So I'm taking Cincinnati by somewhere between 7 and 13 points.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you. I know Jim Harbaugh is doing a fabulous job there with the Chargers in his first year.
Oh, yeah.
But when you look at the Bengals, for this team to have a 4-6 record, they are probably the best 4-6 team I've ever seen.
Yeah, at worst, they should be 6-4.
They should.
They are much better than a 4-6 team, and I think that's really going to shine bright tonight.
They get off to this late start, bad start here. Like I said, the Jamar Chase thing sort of set them back, along with, and Icky admitted, and I think everyone knows that running back situation sort of hurt them too. But look here, we're going to take a break. We only got one more segment.
One segment,
left,
baby.
And this is all about the Cowboys and the Texans. I can't wait. You're listening to the Mean Gene Show with Jacob Meadows, and we are broadcasting live at Frankie's Sports Bar and Grill. It's getting crowded up in there, too.
It is
1303 Main Street here on ESPN 97.5 Houston.
This is the Mean Gene Show
on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
from the Veritex Community Bank Studios. Here's Mean Gene.
Oh my goodness. Oh my Jacob, it's the last segment of the show that it's just not enough time in the day to talk about sports. There's just too much going on here. And this is it, man.
This is it. I've been full of anticipation for this segment the entire show. AJ gets to participate just like his team is, and it's going to be a terrific segment.
Oh my goodness. All right, folks. Jacob Meadows, Mean Gene. It's the Mean Gene Show live from Frankie's downtown Dallas. And man, a lot of friends are coming by. A lot of folks that listen to the show that have supported us over the years. They just dropping in. This bar is still filled of fans here, and these games are moving along here. But real quick before we get into the Monday night game, I want to thank Iker Woods for coming on talking about the Sunday night game.
Terrific. Yeah, he's good every time. What a great guy.
A great guy. I can't wait to get him to come out to Houston and studio. We can just have fun with that guy. He will get you in trouble, by the way. I can tell you that now. So, games in progress. We got Falcons at the Broncos. Broncos trying to get over 500. And, of course, the Falcons trying to maintain their lead in the NFC South, but it's not looking good for the Falcons. They are down 21-6 in the third quarter, 12-10 left to go in the third quarter. So a lot of football action there. But right now, we're looking for, if you're waiting for a Kirk Cousins miracle, it still could happen. But right now, it's all Denver Broncos and Bo Nix. Seahawks at the 49ers. You got a razor-thin race there in the NFC West. And the Seahawks win over the 49ers will put them one game out of first place, basically, which is right now currently owned by the Arizona Cardinals. Mm-hmm. That score is still 7-6. It has not changed.
That division is wild.
That game pretty much is indicative of how that division is.
For the whole season, that is the division in a nutshell.
So this is just crazy that the 49ers are struggling there. If you like defensive football, that's the game you might want to watch. And then, of course, can the Chiefs remain unbeaten? Josh Allen has beaten Kansas City in the regular season, but is winless versus the Chiefs in the playoffs. And this game is all that it was billed up to be, as right now it's 14-13 Chiefs with 2:51 in the second quarter, about to go into halftime there. So that's where we stand on the evening games. But it's all about the Monday night football game that's coming up. And AJ, oh boy, I know you've been sitting over there. I know you can no longer hold your tongue over there because you ready to talk. So let me just set the table here, okay? You got the Texans and the Cowboys. Cowboys last 5 games, they are 1-4, which includes a 4-game losing streak. They are 0-4 at home. And when they lose at home, it's usually a big loss. The Texans, first place in the AFC South by 2 games. They have lost their last 2 games. And the Jets and the Lions. Well, everybody loses to the Lions, right? But Nico Collins is back,
baby.
Yes. So, AJ, I just got a little history for you. You want to go down memory lane? Are you okay? You were born in what, 2002?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let me tell you what happened in 2002.
Oh, Lord, I already know.
The Texans entered the league as an expansion team. They beat the Dallas Cowboys in their first game and became the first expansion team to win their opening game since 1961, AJ. All that happened the same year you were a baby.
Okay, well.
I'm just trying to let you know what's going on.
I mean, look, this is actually it might throw y'all off guard a little bit, but coming from a reasonable Cowboys fan, y'all Texans, y'all need to win the game because we want to tank. We want Travis Hunter or we want Ashton Genty. Like I'm being dead serious. We're not going to win a Super Bowl or anything like that. So.
That's a valid point.
But I would not let you come on air and say you want to tank the season. This is America's team we're talking about.
Bro, well, I'm smart, though. I mean, I'm just being honest. We're not going to win a Super Bowl, and we don't want to be a mid-team to get like a mid-round draft pick. We want to be bad so we can get really good now. Dak is hurt. I mean, come on. Now, the team is injured. DeMarcus Lawrence not there. DeRon Bland still hasn't played this season yet, which is weird. So, we want to be bad this year. And it would be the most Texans thing ever if y'all lost to us, bro. Like I would be so mad.
It would just
oh my
be
gosh.
it would be just like losing to the Jets. That would
Yeah.
be the most Houston thing we could possibly do is come out and lose like 9-6 to y'all in Dallas.
Well, that first game back in 2002, AJ, the Texans won 19-10. It was a Sunday night game. And look, I mean, this is just crazy. Texans really need to win because they have lost 2 in a row. Indy slowly creeping on their tails. And Cowboys, hey, AJ, guess what? One thing that ain't going to happen is Jerry Jones is not going to bring his ass down here and threaten to fire me and Jacob because we don't work for his ass. First of all, even though we right here in this city talking smack, that guy better not come up in here. Cowboys fans, they are still representing AJ. I just think there's got to be a little pride and dignity on the line. They have to at least try to show up. I don't want to give my pick here, but they're going to win a game at home this year, and who knows? They might just muster. They might win this game tomorrow night.
AJ, I want you to know you're possibly my favorite Cowboys fan that I've ever met.
Thank you, Jake. I appreciate it, bro.
You're very welcome. Your perspective's
Well,
fantastic.
he's honest, and AJ's an honest guy, and I know. I mean, at some point you got to just draw a line in the sand and say, okay, it's over. I'm just not. I mean, look, I had the standings up here. I mean, boy, there's an outside chance the Cowboys could sneak in there. I doubt it. Too many good teams in the NFC North. The Commanders, you guys haven't played the Commanders yet. You beat the Commanders twice. Who knows?
No, we need to
things
forfeit those
could
games.
collapse.
Yeah, you don't want to pull a Miami Dolphins, start winning games for no reason.
I mean, have you seen how Cooper Rush played against the Eagles? It's a check down central game, so no, I highly doubt that. Trey Lance is no. I mean, he's too much a wild card now. I'm good. So.
Well, I mean, are you excited about the opportunity that, and this is what I like about the NFL, quarterbacks go down. You don't like to see your starters go down, but here, Trey Lance, a guy that was a top pick by the 49ers several years ago, you think he have a chance that if he has a big game tomorrow night and if he wins, do you think he would go on to start somewhere else? It won't be in Dallas.
Well, yeah, I
owe
think
Dak too much money.
Yeah, I think that's possible. But I mean, you traded a 4th round pick. You might as well see what happens because he's going to be a free agent at the end of this year anyway. So I mean, you might as well just try anything. McCarthy might be gone too, so he's basically a dead man walking. So might as well try whatever.
I liked your bid about Ben Johnson possibly coming over and being the coach of the Cowboys. I think that would help a lot. I really think that Trey Lance might just not be good at football. Like, you got to try him out, right? Like, you got to see what he's got. But Kyle Shanahan couldn't save him, and he's looked bad in the spurts he's had with Dallas. And it's just he might actually just not be good at football.
Yeah, and he hasn't played enough either. And I don't know if y'all remember, like in preseason, he had a game where he had like 5 interceptions or something like that. So it was
man.
Wild.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he might actually just not be a football guy. Like, it's just you either have it or you don't. And despite being a 1st round pick, he really just might not have it.
Right. He didn't even play a lot in college either, too, though. So that's the thing. So it's like,
hey, AJ, I get a text message from somebody that we both know, and that's John Bellman. Okay. John texts me early in the week. He says he thinks Jerry Jones might try to hire Deion Sanders this offseason to replace McCarthy. And then he went on to say that Deion Sanders' son is going to replace Dak. That's John predicting the future. What say you about that?
bro, I've seen this so much, and I've had family members text me about this too this week. Deion Sanders has repeatedly said that he does not want to coach in the NFL, that professional athletes like coaching kids. So I don't think that's going to happen. And also drafting Shedeur Sanders, you're going to trade Dak. That's going to be $100 million salary cap hit right there. So I mean, what are you going to have around Shedeur? That's what I'm saying. So like, it doesn't make sense.
I mean, yeah, and this is that's a topic for another show. These big, you saw Trevor Lawrence. Boy, I tell you, they got buyer's remorse on that one there. You see Deshaun Watson, all of these big, that's $500 million between just those 2 quarterbacks alone. Now, won't say that Dak is a total bust yet. The injury saves him from that conversation.
Yeah, it does.
But, he comes back next year. I tell you, you add Dak to the equation, you almost at $1 billion here with these big. The only one that's panning out is Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes.
You just have to hope that Jerry Jones could build a team around Dak. I mean, him only having one real target to throw to isn't doing him any favors. And as much as I like to hate on how bad Dak has been since signing that contract, he does need help.
Yeah, he can't do
Yeah.
everything himself. So
Exactly.
He cannot. Well, anyway, this game is going to be played on Monday Night Football. The entire country is going to have eyes on AT&T Stadium in Dallas. I think I picked the Texans to win this game, although I would not because it's such a prideful type game. I don't know. Like most teams like play for a boot. This is for the Battle of Texas. This is for what pound of brisket or something. What? I know it has a lot of meaning, but it don't. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys win, AJ.
yeah, I wouldn't be either too. But I mean, that's the only thing. It's for the pride of Texas, essentially, I guess. But I
Just the
don't
pride
care.
of Texas.
The Texans are going to talk.
Deep in
fans
the
are gonna talk
heart of Texas.
Yeah.
I really wanted I wanted both teams to be healthy when we played.
Yeah.
I have to wait 4 years for this matchup, and both teams could be healthier.
Right.
Dallas especially.
And we would have
Well.
saw Diggs against Diggs too. Like that would have been crazy.
That was one of the coolest things about it was brother v brother, and it can't happen because Stephon will probably play for Dallas next year, which is something for another day. But it
Well.
does suck that they can't go 1v1.
I know. I tell you what. Look, man, AJ, I wish we had just more time to talk about this. But anyway, we want to say a big thanks to Frankie's Sports Bar here in Dallas for their hospitality. A special thanks to Brittany Smith. She's been walking around. She's the GM here for making this happen. And, of course, we want to thank of all of our listeners who joined us here today. And last but not least, Icky Woods coming on here. We'll be back in studio next week in Houston with all of our highlights and analysis from Week 12 of the NFL right here with Jacob Meadows and Mean Gene on the Mean Gene Show, ESPN 97.5 Houston. See ya.
When I went to dude, I carry lights in the bag with the apple for my teeth because I knew I get a kid.